come to the live streams, join our community. We have a great community here. Everything we do here is about developing players and esports and stuff like that. And if you think that's nerdy, well, you're right. But I mean, it's fun. So we are gonna look at Air, who is Grand Champ 2. Cole, Ron, how do you feel like I'm responding to coaching? Good, Cole. I mean, I think you're a perfect example of progression. Pretty fast progression, but I mean, I think our first problem was awareness, and then you played faster, and then it was control, and now it's more like creative control. So like each replay kind of builds each week. I feel like you're taking and applying everything I'm talking about. We need more time, and we need more replays. Like, we need to see how things really progress. And I would submit threes next week. Try to keep typically if I give someone advice about control, submit threes or submit twos. And if, you know, I gave the advice about control and you did it and you practice it, then submit threes. And like rotate back between the playlists. Because the end goal, the reason people play twos is to get better control in threes. I mean, it's not bad so far. We're just kind of back and forth. It's good. I feel like we're having a hard time getting something going this game, but even that play was a little awkward. I feel like it's a little like mechanically awkward. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like your actual just basic fundamental mechanics. Just like thinking back last week or the week before Air, maybe last week, right? This is the second replay since you subscribed. Like we had a lot more. I felt like you were more comfortable and more mechanical in last week's replay. It just seemed a little awkward. Even like that recovery was kind of botched. Like could just be an off game. I feel like you're just like, that's a good save. You're like less locked in. We should be scoring that, as you know. It's more of a consistency thing. That's a good. Now we're flowing. Like the past like 15 seconds have been good. I feel like to start this game, you're just like overthinking. Good pre-jump. Like side note, like I think this is when you look best as a player, when you're pre-jumping, when you're being aggressive, you're fast, you're attacking the ball, you're beating players. I think this is when you look best. Not really like positioning or playing smart. It's kind of like a hyper risk play style with pre-jumps and attacking. I think this is when you look best. It's also a little bit more meta. I don't think we need to overthink that first like little bit of gameplay. I think you were just not in a flow state yet. Like now we're flowing. Pacing. That's fine. Part 1 of this replay is just like identify your play style. Remember, like hyper risk, pre-jumps, attacking the ball, beating players, cutting, air dribbles, control. We always want to like lean more into that. But I'll try to see like what, besides the awkwardness, but we're not going to overthink it, if there's anything breaking down. It's a good job looking for a demo. Hey, we'll take that. I mean, we're not necessarily making a ton of mistakes. I mean, we rushed this. Like, our teammate pulled something. We don't know what's going on here. But, like, we did rush this play. Even if, like, teammate did not do what teammate was doing, like, what are you going to get out of this? It's just kind of a 50. But you could take a 50. That's fine. I still feel like we rushed this play. And like that was fine too. Lost 50. Like I'm kind of like thinking taking some low 50s in the offensive half, or then that I don't know what I want to do with that. You're not making a ton of mistakes. Those were the only two plays that kind of bugged me. I just don't know if I want to pick that apart. Remember, like the pre-jumps, the hyper risk, we want that. I want to look at our offense. I feel like we're rushing a bit. But I want you to play fast. I want you to be hyper risk. But I think we're rushing when we have time. I think that's the difference. We're rushing when we have a little bit of time to slow down and line up our max or whatever. Just take our time. If that keeps bugging me, that's the vibe I'm getting. See that hard aggressive ego challenge? We like that. Like we want to keep that. And then you have time right here, and we slow down, so this is good. And you rush the. This is tough. Like I almost want to tell you, like, look for more low 50s on offense. And really try to slow down our touches. That was a really good play. I mean, you mentioned awareness. Maybe we're having a hard time like identifying open space. Like we even rushed this play. That was a good fake. But like think this is a massive pre-jump. Pretty far away from that. We do fake it. Good fake. Like these fakes. So we slow down. I don't know, like, I just want to see you look at this play right here and maybe do something creative where let this roll a little bit deeper into your back wall, bait this player in. I'm kind of at this throw spaghetti to the wall, see what sticks, where maybe we could try to slow down in the offensive corners and the defensive corners. That's typically a space zone if you're struggling with awareness. Like if you're going to have space, you're typically going to have space in the corners. I mean, and the midfield. But I feel like this is an easier position to identify. Look to take 50s, look to slow down, look for space, focus your soft touches. That'll be part one. Part two is what we initially talked about with the hyper risk play style, but then pair that with slowing down right here in all the corners, right? Keep our touch close, take a 50. Simplest way to tackle that. I would leave it there because like what I'm trying to solve indirectly is a little bit more control and not rushing some of these challenges. Like that's what I'm trying to solve with this. It's like this one. See how fast we are? I mean, our teammate own goals, but I mean, I think this will be the example. Find moments, defensive corner, offensive corner to slow down. That will be like the indirect solve all for this. We're in the corner, low 50. We're in the defensive corner, fake on the back wall, fake challenge, low 50. Like that's why we're trying to find pockets of space, control. I like that. And then continuing the hyper risk, like I said, continuing the pre-jumps. I think that's what it is, because like you almost like thrive. You thrive in the midfield. Like you thrive with pre-jump challenges, you thrive with ego challenges, like playing players' dribbles in the midfield. But then it seems that like all our mistakes are kind of happening in the corners. Even we score right there in the midfield. So let's kind of like have a corner focus, but also tied to like a soft touch control 50 focus. And then everything else is like crazy midfield pre-jumps, egos, etc. You'll still fake into open space, but it's rooted in we don't want to lose our hyper risk play style, but we're going to kind of limit some of that risk in the corners. I like that. It kind of came together towards the end there, Air. You look good. Just a weird start to that game. You were not flowing. You were not pacing. That was the problem. You were just awkward.